As I'm sure many of you have heard by now, there was a tragic shooting outside of a DC museum that cost the life of a beautiful Jewish couple, and the shooter was, well, you guessed it, screaming and chanting, "Free Palestine." Now, this isn't normally the sort of thing we would cover in a dedicated video on this channel, usually in live streams, because we're a nerdy news channel. However, the head of the ADL went on CNN and implicated Hasan Piker and his rhetoric as the reason for this rise in extremism in the US, and considering Hasan is the largest cancerous growth in the social media space today, I do figure it's worth covering. So welcome back to Words Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and we're going to get into this. We're going to break down what the head of the ADL said, what was on CNN, whether he is correct, what Hasan Piker had to say about this, and various other individuals on the internet. Before we do, hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news nearly every day. And yes, this is from Observer. The head of the ADL directly blames HasanTheHun for the DC shooting. The full force of the U.S. government is about to come down on him. When these things happen, politicians look for a scapegoat to show that they're doing something. Hasan will be the guy. I don't believe this for a moment. Hasan has operated with effectively impunity on Twitch for this long, and it's going to continue. The ADL can say whatever they want, and Hasan can be in this public light for a little bit, but it's going to go back to the status quo. That being said, just because I don't think anything's going to happen to Hasan doesn't mean that Twitch might not have to change the way they handle things. But what does the head of the ADL have to say? So we're going to break this down because I actually don't agree with a lot of what he says. And for those of you that don't know, yeah, I don't really care about the Palestinian Gaza-Israel conflict. I'm America first. I've said this many a time. Frankly, I think that we should be out of all foreign wars and just let them sort out themselves. Doesn't matter if it's Russia, Ukraine, Palestine, Israel, Gaza, Taiwan, China, the list goes on. India, Pakistan, America, get the fuck out. It ain't our problem. However, when you do have the largest politically left-leaning, frankly, communist Twitch streamer, one of the largest accounts on Twitch in general, absolutely espousing this sort of rhetoric, yeah, I do tend to want to get involved because, again, I find Hasan to be a net negative for the entire online space. So let's go ahead and take a look at what was said on CNN.
But all of us need to call it out. I'm thinking about the New York Times doing a gauzy profile a few weeks ago of this gamer, Hasan Piker.
All right. Can we not call Hasan Piker a gamer? Dude is a fake gamer at best. Oh, yes, I get it. He played Assassin's Creed Shadows. No. Dude uses Twitch as a pulpit to espouse his political propaganda. He even admitted on Piers Morgan that he is a propagandist. He's not real news. And the fact that he has the influence he has, especially amongst young, mostly a younger generation, is frankly terrifying. But yes, he's not a gamer. Don't lump our ilk in with someone like Hasan, Hamas, Diddy, Epstein, Osama bin Laden Piker,
who regularly employs awful genocidal rhetoric against Jewish people in the Jewish
He does. This is true.
State. Like, extremists should not be empowered.
See, and here's where I disagree. When head of the ADL says extremists should not be in power, what is an extremist to you may vary to somebody else. It's a very subjective term. I mean, yes, I think we can all agree with the general sentiment of extremists should not be in power. Many people call Trump an extremist. I happen to like Trump, think he's fine. You want who I did find to be an extremist? Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama. I mean, the list goes on. I'd say Joe Biden, but we all know he wasn't really in control, and he was just a puppet for whoever was in charge on the back end. But whoever was in charge on the back end, they were also extremists. So, yes, I don't agree with the whole extremists shouldn't be in power rhetoric that he's saying, because it's just too broad, too subjective.
People who spout prejudice should not be platformed.
And then he says people who spout prejudice should not be platformed. Again, I disagree with this. I do believe in free speech. Now, there is a bit of a caveat here because Twitch obviously has a terms of service, and if they're going to enforce that terms of service fairly amongst everybody, well, no, Hasan shouldn't actually be on Twitch because he is called multiple times for terroristic threats. He has absolutely broken TOS to the nth degree, and it's been pointed out time and time again. But because he is Twitch golden boy, and because he can espouse these, anti-Jewish and anti-Zionist and anti-Israel, frankly, terroristic speeches, instead, he gets a birthday party thrown for him by Clancy, the head of Twitch, the CEO of Twitch. So yeah, needless to say, I do think that sort of stuff should be allowed, but if that sort of stuff is going to be allowed, it needs to be allowed for everybody. And if it's not going to be allowed for everybody, then Hasan does need to see some consequences for his actions. I mean, the dude got a 1-day ban, single day, 24 hours, for calling for the death of a Republican politician. I mean, he openly said that people need to kill Rick Scott. He got banned for a day. Asmongold got a week, I believe, the 3-day to a week-long ban for saying that Islam is an inferior culture. I feel like one of those things is not like the other. So, yes, I disagree with this heavily. But now that we've at least gotten what CNN and the head of the ADL had to say out of it, let's see what the general sentiment has been. But before that, let's see what Hasan had to say about the whole thing. Israel is an apartheid state doing a live stream genocide. I think it's wrong and dangerous to conflate these heinous actions with Jews. The Apartheid Defense League does it because they think they can improve Israel's standing by silencing its critics. It won't change the truth. Hasan is quote tweeting the Observer and the post of what the ADL said, and he didn't even condemn the murder. He didn't condemn the attack. He did not condemn the terrorism. Why? Because Hasan is pro-terrorist. He openly has terrorists on his platform, celebrates them, says they remind him of Luffy from One Piece, the anime character, and states that America would be supportive and is supportive of what he's doing. I mean, you cannot sit here and tell me that the dude is not getting preferential treatment from Twitch when he is allowed to host terrorists, openly admitted terrorists, on his show and say that he agrees with their actions. And he has done far worse than that, if we're being completely honest. Like, that's just one of the easiest examples to jump to. But here we have this quote from him, and he doesn't even condemn the terroristic acts. No, instead, he tries to play it off like he's not anti-Semitic without any sort of condemnation, just saying, oh, let's not conflate Zionism with Jews, despite the fact that he does that on the daily on his streams. Underneath his posts, he is not faring very well either. You've got a myriad of individuals calling him out, such as this one right here, saying, maybe stop inciting jihad. Or what about this one? So you and your horse-loving uncle are fair game for Armenians, right? His uncle, of course, being Cenk Uygur, which, well, if you don't know about the horse lover and whatnot, I'll let you Google that on your own time. This account says, you were demonic. They were literally peace activists murdered for being Jews. Or what about this one? You remind me of the Irish far-right nationalists who waged a Nazi-level campaign against the ADL. This one's pretty simple and to the point. Not gonna disavow it? Or the sarcasm is palpable here. Thank you, Hasan, for not condemning the attack yesterday on 2 innocent Jews. But of course, not everybody is against Hasan Piker. I mean, he's got his acolytes, he's got his toadies, like Jabba the Hutt, you know, Frogan, who, she didn't, I say she. I don't know that we're allowed to say she, because it's sort of more of an amorphous blob a la D&D, but for sake of, not knowing the proper pronouns, we'll say she, didn't actually say anything herself on this matter. No, instead, she decided to hide behind just a quote retweet, or in this case, I guess just a retweet, but it's a very interesting retweet of a tweet that says, Jonathan Greenblatt in the Apartheid Defense League is blaming Twitch streamers for the rise of anti-Semitic violence. No, conflating Israel's genocide and apartheid with Jewish identity creates a rise in anti-Semitism. Killing children falsely in the name of Jews does that. Can you be any more just self-aggrandizing to say that you can hide behind, oh, this is a genocide, the Israel government are terrorists, we don't hate the Jews, when you have said and done so much to prove opposite on your own shows? By the way, yeah, Hasan can be the cause of this. Now, I don't think he should be charged with it. He can be the inspiration, though. I do think that when people do commit violent acts, such as, let's say any of the minor and minimal, by the way, but let's say violence that happened on January 6th, because there was a little bit, even though the vast majority of it was truly non-violent, and the few instances where violence occurred, where police officers were attacked and whatnot, do you blame Trump for that? No. Why? Because people have control over their own actions, 100%. So do I think that Hasan should be in any trouble because of what happened here, if it turns out this dude was an avid fan of his content? Not unless Hasan was actively calling for violence, which, I mean, you can make a debate or a case that he has in the past, but I don't know that he's done anything specific enough to link to this attack. You get into some really dicey grounds, but the point is, you can't just say, oh, this person speaks a lot of rhetoric, therefore anyone that does something in their name, now they're liable for it. No, people still have freedom of choice. That being said, you're walking a real slippery slope because, yes, Hasan does in fact have sway. He does in fact have, for whatever reason, some amount and modicum of following and people that just froth at the mouth for what he says. Again, usually young children who have no concept of how the real world works, but that's neither here nor there. Thankfully, though, there have been plenty of other large accounts that have 100% called Hasan out. For one, you have the chief Hasan hater Nux Taku saying motherfucker can't even condemn a terrorist attack on American soil. I mean, where's the lie? And we got our boy Yellow Flash just asking the cheeky little question, did Hasan get a man murdered? Again, I don't think that Hasan should be charged for it, but I do think that there's probably going to be a fair argument or case that Hasan could definitely be an inspiration. But let's say that Hasan never existed, that, you know, Hasan didn't make this sort of content. This dude probably would have gravitated towards some other content in the same vein, and the same result would have happened. So, again, I don't think it's fair to blame Hasan unless we can directly link this to a specific call to action that Hasan himself said. All in all, this is a crazy turn of events because it goes to show that there are individuals, whether it be asmongold, or whether it be Hasan Piker, or whether it be anybody in the YouTube sphere, that are being taken seriously by the media at this point. I mean, when your name starts getting dropped on CNN or Fox News or whatnot, you're not just some talking head on the internet. You have become effectively a player in the eyes of the big dogs, the mainstream media, frankly, the people that so many of us are replacing because they numbers ain't doing too good. But no, in all reality, this goes to show that Hasan is a threat, that there is danger to his rhetoric, and more than anything, this is a chance to say, yo, Twitch, what are you doing? How you gonna do things like ban Tectone for 3 weeks for calling Frogan fat, which she is, by the way, but openly advocate and support Hasan, who, again, has done things like call for the death of a sitting senator, has brought terrorists onto his platform, and has openly laughed. Has laughed in glee at the coffins of Jewish children being paraded around by the terrorists in the Gaza Strip. I mean, again, that is sickening. He brings individuals on his platform that don't know much about the Israel-Gaza stuff, and then effectively brainwashes them into watching pro-terrorist content and claiming that they're freedom fighters. Again, Tectone got canceled for 3 weeks. Well, it was downplayed to 3 days, but he got demonetized for 3 weeks on Twitch for calling Hijab the Hut fat. Why is Twitch playing favorites like this? The only example, the only reason you can come up with is that, well, Dan Clancy himself is also anti-Semitic. I mean, you basically just have to come to the conclusion that Twitch as a platform is anti-Semitic, and because of that, nothing will change, and Hasan will be able to carry on as is forever, unless there is some sort of intervention, or unless you've got such a mass pulling of ads, a third adpocalypse, if you will, which I believe it was Hasan that caused the second adpocalypse on Twitch. But even then, are we going to see anything change? Because if Dan Clancy really is anti-Semitic, which, frankly, at this point, I'm very inclined to believe, then he might just say that the message is more important than the money, like we've seen Disney do. But these are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, or you can find me at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news nearly every day. Usually not about topics such as heavy as this. Usually things like anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles we go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos we react to on the Friday night live streams, and of course get involved with over 190 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further because we do care about diversity. But only one kind of diversity of thought. If that's interesting to you, join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it's all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.